I keep thinking about Laura Collins packing her bags, getting ready for what is supposed to be a heartwarming, innocent trip to visit Kevin and Ace. On the surface, it looks like a well-deserved break for our mayor, a chance to step away from the chaos of the city and just be with her family. But guys, the moment I saw this, I knew something was horribly wrong. It feels like a final farewell. It feels like a death sentence disguised as a family vacation. The ominous undertones are screaming at us, and I am absolutely terrified that Laura is never going to step foot in Port Charles again. This isn't just a temporary exit. This feels like the end of an era, a permanent, violent removal of the heart and soul of this town. And the timing is what makes this so incredibly sickening and brilliant at the same time. Let's just take a step back and look at what has been happening. For decades, Laura has fought tooth and nail for the soul of Port Charles. She wanted peace. She wanted safety. She wanted the mob violence to end once and for all. And miraculously, against all odds, she finally got exactly what she wanted. Sonny Corinthos, the untouchable mob boss, actually chose to step away from his empire. He decided he didn't want to be the kingpin anymore. And Jason Morgan, Jason, who literally bleeds loyalty to the organization, returned from his WSB nightmare and made the shocking decision to leave the mob behind to prioritize Danny. Laura must have been so incredibly proud. I can just picture her smiling, feeling like her lifelong mission to clean up the streets was finally accomplished. She looked at Sonny, her old friend, and felt a profound sense of pride that he finally chose the light over the darkness. But that is exactly why this hit so hard. The cruel, agonizing irony of it all is just too much to bear. Laura finally gets the peaceful Port Charles she always dreamed of. Sonny is out. Jason is out. The immediate threats, like Jen Sidwell, have been neutralized and arrested. Ross Cullum is dead and gone. The streets are supposedly safe for the first time in forever. And yet, this exact moment of peace has created a massive, gaping power vacuum. By Sonny and Jason stepping down, the protective shadow shield around the town and around Laura has vanished. They unwittingly rolled out the red carpet for an even darker, more insidious threat to swoop in. And who pays the ultimate price for this newfound peace? Laura. It is absolutely gut-wrenching to realize that her greatest victory is going to be the very thing that gets her killed. I love this storyline for Sonny and Jason. I really do. Watching Jason choose Danny, watching him realize that his captivity changed him and that he needs to be a father first, it is beautiful character growth. And Sonny realizing he needs to step back, focusing on his family and his relationship with Justine Turner. It's a side of him we've desperately wanted to see. But guys, I have to admit, I am so incredibly frustrated by the consequences of their growth. I hate that their redemption is directly paving the way for Laura's destruction. It feels like a cosmic punishment. Why can't we just have a moment where the good guys win and get to enjoy the victory? Why does Laura have to be the sacrificial lamb on the altar of Sonny and Jason's retirement? It just bothers me on such a deep level. I love that Laura finally felt a sense of pride in her old friend Sonny. She has always seen the good in him, even when he was doing terrible things. To see him finally validate her faith in him, only for her to be targeted right when she feels safest. It's a brilliant narrative choice, but it makes me want to scream at my television. I am so torn between appreciating the masterful tragedy of the writing and being absolutely furious that they are doing this to our mayor. It feels deeply unfair to a character who has given everything to this town, a woman who has survived Cassadines, kidnappings, and madmen, only to be taken out by a shadow political assassination. And let's talk about the absolute cowards who are orchestrating this. I understand why a power vacuum attracts vultures, but targeting Laura? I still think that was a massive mistake on the writer's part if they don't give us a satisfying payoff, because the level of disrespect is staggering. Who is behind this? Is it Jack Brennan, calculating and ruthless, trying to seize political control of the city now that the mob is weakened? Is it Drew Kane, who has been acting so dark, reckless, and unrecognizable lately, making some twisted play for power? Or is it the WSB, a corrupt organization that has always viewed Port Charles as its own personal playground and wants a puppet in the mayor's office? Whoever it is, they aren't just trying to take over a town. They are trying to assassinate its moral compass. They are trying to ensure Laura never returns so they can control everything. It is disgusting, and I judge them entirely. But here is where the story gets really intense and where my judgment shifts to Sonny Corinthos. We all know Sonny. We know his heart and we know his temper. If Laura is taken out, if she is killed on this trip and never comes back, Sonny is not going to just sit in his penthouse and wait for the PCPD or Anna Devane to handle it. He is going to snap. I can already see the look in his eyes when he gets the news. The guilt is going to consume him alive. He will blame himself, thinking that if he had just stayed in power, if he hadn't let his guard down to play house, they wouldn't have dared to touch her. And you know what? He might be entirely right. His reputation kept the real monsters at bay, and the second he retired, the monsters came for his friend. Sonny is going to return to the mob. He is going to pick up the bloody crown he just put down, and he is going to wage an absolute war on these streets. He will want blood, not justice. He won't care about the law. He won't care about Justine's warnings about bending the rules, and he certainly won't care about the consequences. He is going to burn Port Charles to the ground to find the person who took his oldest, dearest friend away from him. And honestly, maybe I'm being unfair to the concept of justice, but I want him to do it. I want him to unleash hell on Brennan, Drew, the WSB, or whoever this shadow villain is. They messed with the wrong woman, and they are going to face the wrath of a grieving, unhinged kingpin. This brings me to the most agonizing part of this whole situation, the absolute fan conflict that is tearing my brain apart. Part of me wants to believe that Sonny can handle this legally, that he can support Anna and Chase and let the police do their jobs. I want to believe that Jason can stay out of it and just be a father to Danny like he promised. I want them to honor Laura's memory by maintaining the peace she died for. Because if Sonny goes back to the mob, if he starts a bloody war in the streets, isn't he just destroying the very thing Laura was so proud of him for achieving? Isn't he completely disrespecting her final wish for him and for the town? But then another part of me thinks that peace is a luxury Port Charles simply cannot afford right now. I honestly can't decide what I want more. A huge part of my fandom soul is screaming for the old Sonny Corinthos to come back. I want the ruthless, calculated, terrifying mob boss who protects his own at all costs. I want to see him and Jason team up one last time, not for business, not for territory, but for pure, unadulterated vengeance. The conflict inside me is tearing me apart. I am literally arguing with myself every time I think about this. Do I want character growth or do I want mob justice? When it comes to Laura Collins, I think my morals go right out the window. I want whoever does this to suffer, and only Sonny can deliver that kind of suffering. I keep thinking about how Laura would react if she could see what her death is going to cause. She would be heartbroken to see Sonny regress back into the violent life she begged him to leave. She would be devastated to see Jason pick up a gun again after finally getting free of his WSB captivity. And yet, her death is the exact catalyst that will force them back into the dark. It's a Shakespearean tragedy playing out right in front of us. I can't help feeling that the writers have trapped us in this emotional corner where no matter what happens next, we are going to be crying for what was lost. We lose Laura, and we lose the redeemed versions of Sonny and Jason in the process. It is a triple heartbreak. Let's talk about the sheer audacity of this unseen enemy. To wait until the exact moment Sonny steps down to strike at the mayor, it shows a level of cowardice, but also terrifying, calculating intelligence. If it's Jack Brennan, we know he has the resources, the WSB connections, and the lack of empathy to pull off a political assassination without leaving a trace. If it's the WSB acting independently, they have the reach to make it look like a tragic accident on her way to see Kevin. And if it's Drew Kane, guys, if Drew is involved in this power grab, there is no coming back for his character. None. The betrayal would be so profound that the entire town, especially his family, would turn on him forever. The suspense of not knowing who is pulling these strings is driving me absolutely insane. The fallout from this is going to shatter the entire canvas of the show. Think about the massive ripple effects. Anna Devane is going to be pushed to her absolute limits trying to keep Sonny from committing murder in the streets, while secretly probably wanting the villains dead herself because she loved Laura too. Justine Turner is going to have to watch the man she just celebrated with turn back into a monster, forcing her to choose between her career in the law and the man she loves. Danny Morgan is going to watch his father, who just promised to put him first, get dragged right back into a deadly war zone. The collateral damage of Laura's tragic exit is going to be astronomical. It is going to touch every single family, every single relationship, and every single corner of this hospital and this town. I am sitting here feeling like I've been hit by a freight train, and I just need to know I am not crazy for feeling this deeply about it. Am I the only one feeling this way? Are you guys seeing the same terrifying writing on the wall that I am? Please tell me I'm not alone in this emotional spiral, because watching Laura pack those bags felt like watching a horror movie where you are screaming at the screen but the character can't hear you. Guys, what do you think? Do you think Laura is really walking into a fatal trap on this trip to see Kevin and Ace? Who do you think is orchestrating this massive, cowardly power grab for the mayor's seat? Is it Brennan, Drew, or the WSB? And most importantly, if the absolute worst happens, do you want Sonny to honor her by staying out of the mob and letting the law handle it? Or do you want him to burn the world down to avenge her? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we are about to witness the most explosive, heartbreaking storyline of the decade. Let me know your thoughts down below, because I desperately need to talk this out with people who understand.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.